Good morning, viewers out there. You are on to another interesting episode of 3M Sports channel on Nigerian League. Of course, it's a program where we talk about Nigerian League, look at the NPFL, the Nigerian Women Football League, NLL, and the NLO. Of course, today we'll be looking at the NPFL, Nigerian Women League, and the NNL, and we'll also be bringing on two important personalities. Of course, the ED of GTI Management and Trust Limited, Mr. Ine Nelson. Of course, will be talking to us live on this program, and also Prince Ngari, who is on the ground there in Rivers, covering the Rivers match, of course, that is still ongoing with Katsina United. Of course, you remember that the match was stopped yesterday, and of course, was to continue this morning. So he'll be giving us up-to-date information there on this program. My name is Vincent Akimbami, and of course, with me in the studio is Peter La. Peter La, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And also, of course, the man behind the scene. You cannot see him, but he's the one doing all the great jobs in the person of Samuel Emmanuel, the production manager, doing a great job here today. And of course, we'll be going straight into the happenings in the Nigerian Women Football League. Of course, remember that the league has gone on break for the next 2 weeks, and we had matches played just over the midweek. And let's quickly give you the result of the match before we look at other issues happening in the Nigerian Women Football League. We saw matches played on Wednesday and Thursdays, and of course on the screen there you can see the results of the matches that were played in the Nigerian Women Football League. And Peter La, I think you quickly give us a rundown of matches played, results of matches played in week 7, which of course has brought the league to a break. And of course, like I said, the league will continue in 2 weeks' time. A short period for the players to rest, I might say. Of course, in order to meet the new calendar that the NFF has set for all the league boards, August to May, so that June, July will be break and pre-season for the clubs, trying to align our calendar with that of Europe and the rest of the world, so that the issue of our clubs not preparing well for continental will not be there. So I think it's a good. Let's quickly go look at the result now on our screen, looking at the Nigerian Women Football League week 7. I think we have, before it comes to the screen, we had the Niger Red Tail, of course, beating Queens with 1-0. Of course, it was a Rivers 6, Adama 0. We'll come back to that match. It's going around the country concerning the comment of coach of the person of Coach Eman. And of course, talking about the matches, Remos has defeated Nasarawa 4-0, and I think that also defeated the Ibom Angels 1-0. I think Peter, please give us a rundown of the results of the Nigerian Women Football League on the screen there.
All right, just as been displayed on the screen, as you can see it over there, the Nigerian Women Football League. First, we have in Abuja, where it plays down Niger Ratters having a 1-goal win over Benue Queens. Down to Port Harcourt, we have Rivers Angels having a thrashing down 6 goals to 0 to Adamawa Queens. And then we have Remo Stars Ladies having a victorious victory over Nasarawa United by 4 goals. And in Asaba, where we see Delta Queens having a goal with Ibom Angels. And then down to Benin City, where the Edo Queens triumph over Ekiti Queens with 3 goals to 0. And then down to the south, where we saw in Lagos, Robo Queens. We are down defeated at home by 3 goals by Barca Queens. And then we have Heartland Queens 3 goals to 0 to Confluence. And then in Lagos again, where we had Dana's Ladies lost at home again to Abia Angels 1 goal to 4.
Well, I think with that, like we said, the league, of course, has come to an end. Now we quickly look at the table and let you know the teams that are topping, and of course the teams that are likely to go continental. And of course, in Group A, of course, we have Remo Stars topping the table with 19 points from 7 matches. Second with 17 points from 7 matches.
All right, here you have it. In Group A, we have Remo Stars leading the table with 19 points after the 7 matches being held, and then we have Edo Queens. Second runner-ups 17 matches, 17 points. Sorry, I beg your pardon. And then we have Abia Angels FC, still trying to see if they can secure more points to have it. They have 13 points. Nasarawa Amazons here with 12 points. Fifth on the table is Ekiti Queens FC with 9 points. And Heartland Queens, 5 points. And then Danham's Ladies with 5 points. And then down the bottom table, the relegation zone, as you can see, we have Conference Queens with no winning. Back to Group B. Rivers Angels still topping the table, I think, with a goal difference. With Bayelsa Queens, the same level up with 17 points each. And then on the third on the table, we have Delta Queens with 10 points. And then we have Niger Raiders with 10 points. And then we have FC Robo Queens with 10 points, trying to share points over there. We'll see how it's going to work out because of the week. We have Ibom Queens with 7 points, and Adamawa Queens with 7 points. And then down below the table relegation zone is Benue Queens, having not secured any point, either a goal or a victory.
Well, like you can see that Remo Stars, Edo, and Rivers and Bayelsa are yet to lose a match, and of course Confluence Queens and Benue Angels Queens are yet to get a point. They've lost all their matches, and of course talking about Coach Eman of Adama, of course they lost 6-0, but was still complaining, blaming the referee for their 6-0 loss to a team that scored 6 goals. What role does the referee have to play? Well, that's another talk for another day. And of course talking about a player that has actually disappeared, she has disappeared, absent without official leave. Person of Folonshaw Comfort of Edo Queens. She left the team without any link of where she had gone to. Of course, I think that might be the problem of contract being signed. That's another issue that has to be looked at upon by the league organizers. What contract did she sign with Edo Queens? It was down there underground contract signed. Maybe of course in these days our player signed to contract. The contract they submit to the league board itself is quite different from the contract they sign underground that makes them to leave at any time. We've seen cases like that, but those are areas that the league board will have to look at to ensure that players stay long with their club so that there can be continuity and which will now reflect in how they play. Let's quickly go now to the Nigerian Premier League where under Remo team, of course, is also topping the table. And I think let's quickly give you a result of matches for week 26. Mr. Peter, give us the result, please.
All right, week 26 in the Nigerian Premier League, we see Eyimba coming out with a draw with Shooting Stars FC. Kano Pillars at home defeating Akwa United by 1-0. Nasarawa United winning 1-0 by the leading club, that's Remo Stars. And we have Akwa United, sorry, I beg your pardon, Akwa United against Abia Warriors. There they had a goalless draw. And then we have Lobby Stars FC losing at home to the triumphant Niger Tornadoes, who have been emergently doing well, securing points in away matches. We have Plateau United securing a win over Bayelsa United by 1-0. Heartland FC 2 had a goalless draw against El Kanami Warriors at home. And then we have Rangers International securing a triumphant victory over Sunshine Stars by 3-0.
Of course, we saw Ben Insurance beating Ikorodu 2-1 yesterday, and the match between Rivers United and Katsina is still ongoing. And we, of course, with time, we'll link you up with Prince Ngari to give us up to date on that match. Concerning the match between Kwara and Abia, of course, we saw a very, very, very annoying officiating where the referee actually had to raise a flag that wasn't an offside. I think let's quickly look at that, and of course, people will judge and tell us if this was an offside or not. Abia versus Kwara, and of course in that particular match, of course we saw the match ended goalless, but the referees, of course, the stories everywhere, and people are angry with officiating, and that is also an area the league board will have to actually look at. We're trying to get that clips and see, let's see if we can get that clip so that you can see whether it was an offside or not. Let's look at that, and we can get it now. We'll also talk about okay, hold on and see the clip and tell us if this was an offside or not. Definitely from here, that wasn't an offside, and we wonder why the referee also will have to blow despite that the lineman actually made a mistake. I think the referee had the authority to just go ahead with the game without having to look at the lineman. So for me, I think it's a sad one. It's a sad one. Despite all the effort of GTI sending funds straight to referees, and the NPFL, of course, they show that they get the referees to do the right thing. And of course, NFF has also been dropping referees who misbehave. I think more sanctions will need to be done to ensure that we get the best from this. Also, let's quickly talk about two players. Rabiu Ali scored for Kano Pillars in their match, of course, with the 1-0 through a penalty. And also, Ahmed Musa, like we heard, did a geoman job in that particular game. And Ahmed Musa is a player that we know played everywhere. He played for Super Eagles, and of course he came back home, a very humble guy, a very generous guy, of course doing so well for Kano Pillars. That alone has actually brought more fans to the stadium in Kano, and that is why we are always encouraging our players who are playing in Europe to come back home and of course play for clubs in Nigeria before they finally retire. And that is why we're also encouraging our players to ensure that they keep their players together, so that fans will always look forward to seeing a particular player every season. Not that this season you have 30, 20 new players and the fans out there don't know who to go and watch. So I think it's part of the reasons why fans, of course, have not been coming to the stadium. Well, let's quickly join one of the people, of course, who have been behind the NPFL. Of course, talking about Mr. Ine Nelson, the ED GTI Management and Trust Limited. They've actually partnered with the NPF and NFF to ensure that the Nigerian League moves to a new level. They want to see a situation whereby we'll have more private clubs in Nigeria, and let's hear from him what they have done so far for the Nigerian football and their plans for Nigerian football. Mr. Ine Nelson, you're welcome to this program.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
We are out there.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being with you on this program.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you on this program.
I appreciate the good job you've been doing with reporting the Nigerian league and the various leagues in the country.
Thank you so much, sir. You're welcome, sir. Before now, of course, some few years back, 2-3 years back, people were losing confidence in Nigerian Premier League especially, but you guys took a gamble, I'll call it a gamble, coming to partner with the NPFL and NFF to see how you can change the course of things for Nigerian football. And so far, I think we've seen changes. We've seen a regular calendar, and we've seen the fact that your team, your company, of course, have been sending funds directly to the referees, hoping that the referees will get better. And so, what are your plans, and how do you see Nigerian Football League in the next 2-3 years? Looking at the agenda you have for Nigerian football.
Thank you very much. If you recall, I mean, it's obvious with what we have done in the last 3 years with the league, and it is certain now that the league has assumed some level of stability now, and a lot of people are more comfortable with the league now. And like you rightly mentioned, we've been able to align our league with the international calendar, which is very, very important, because football, apart from operating in the domestic environment, also operating in the global football ecosystem. And we must also be seen to be aligning with what we always call international best practices. And that is why that's what we are trying to bring on board. Because we need a lot of partners to come on board. What GT has done is just to create a very conducive environment to get everybody on board, from partners to players. And the good thing today is that some of our ex-internationals are now coming back to the league, which is a very good development, and also creates some kind of hope future. But with what we've done so far, and our expectations for the future. If you recall now, there's some good corporate governance structure in the league now. I mean, there's some level of transparency, there's some level of accountability. Like you just analyze the situation where you think the referee has not handled the situation properly. But then there are certain procedures that must be followed, and there are organs that deal with such situations. And I'm sure they are going to look at it and take the appropriate decision. So what we are just doing today is to ensure that we work with the Nigerian Premier League and create a very conducive environment to make it very attractive to both local and international partners. If you agree with me today that looking at our league with what has happened, you also mentioned something about the ability of the clubs to retain players. That is where the economics of football come into place. The economics of football will look at the dynamics of the financial reward for players. You must also remember that a lot of these players, their career span is very short. And in that sense, they are always gravitating to where they can be adequately rewarded. So the reward system is one of the systems we need to look at again critically. Because without the reward system, the league cannot retain talent. And if the league does not retain talent consistently, it will affect the entertainment quality of the league, because you need very exceptionally talented, gifted players to enhance the entertainment value of the league. And that is why if you see other leagues, they are always moving towards attracting the best talents all over the world, because that is what will actually create the kind of value they are looking for. So we've also identified a gap in our league, and we are doing something very, very critical to ensure that that is addressed. Like you mentioned, in the next 2 years, let me tell you this. In the next 2 years, there will be 360 turnaround in the Nigerian Premier League.
Yes.
A lot of things are going to happen.
Yes.
When we started, people thought it was a joke. We mentioned it 3 years ago. We said it was not possible. 3 years after, people can see possibilities now. I will only tell you that what you have seen now is just, let's say, a tip of the iceberg. Because it's about system. We are more system inclined. We look at the systems and the fundamentals. When you get the system and the fundamental right, other factors will come into play to boost the value of the league. So those are the areas we address. We don't just address it in piecemeal. We look at the fundamentals. The first issues we address was the corporate governance of this league in terms of the referees. A system where today Nigerian referees can tell you at the end of and we've been able to achieve that. A system where clubs, you can see the level of competitiveness in the league today. You see, you don't expect clubs to play 38 matches, and at the end of the season, the prize money is not worth their effort.
Yes.
Today, we have put a system in place today. You can see the competition now. It's steep. I quite appreciate the performance of all the clubs. The Remo Stars have done very, very well. They are topping the table. But again, it is not over until it is over. The other clubs are also giving them the chance to ensure they are able to top the table of the league, because there's a 200 million naira at stake for the winner.
Yeah, Mr. Nelson, you started. Mr. Nelson, yeah, you started with 100 million. Last season it was 150, and this season is going to be 200. I think I want to say kudos to the MPFL and GTI, and we're so sure that as we go on, it will continue to get better.
Yes, we expect it to get better, not to get worse. And that is what we are all working towards. It is a collective thing. Even your contribution to this whole development is also appreciated.
Thank you,
because
sir.
the football, the sport, and this sport is about media. If the media is not there to promote the league, let me also tell you one thing to do. If you say the foreign leagues are doing very well in Nigeria, it's because of what the media has done for them. It's the Nigerian media that has promoted them to gain that level of acceptance, that level of attraction. It's the Nigerian media that has done all that for them.
Yes.
So if the Nigerian media could do that for the foreign leagues, it also builds on them to concentrate on their own. Because this is our own anyway. This is our own. Nobody will come and grow it for us if we don't grow it ourselves. You know, we can always criticize. Sometimes it's good to criticize, but let it be very constructive.
Yes.
And while we criticize, we must also make effort to contribute towards correcting those things we think that are wrong and trying to work towards development. We are looking at
we can't hear you again. Mr. Nelson, sorry, we can't hear you again. Okay. So I think that, well, before we go, what's your advice briefly to the clubs? Briefly.
Now, for the club, I'll tell you, given the constraints and resources at their disposal, I'll say they've done well. They've done well, but they still need to do more, and they need to look at the internal structure. They need to look at their facilities. We need a lot of work to upgrade our facilities to meet the international standard. They also need to look at the remuneration of the players. See, these players, it's about reward system. If the reward system is good, we get all the talent to return all the talent. But if the reward system is not so encouraging, you will only discover a talent today. The moment you showcase that talent, it's on its way out. And we don't want that to continue in our league. So the clubs, they have a lot to do. Not only the coaches, they also need to look at their backroom staff. The backroom staff is very, very
Mr.
important.
Lesson, thank you so much. You said so much, and we hope that anytime we call you, you'll always be here to give us insights about what you're doing and what's happening in the league. We appreciate you so much for taking out time to be with us on this program.
Thank you very much. We also appreciate all you are doing for the league. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Promise. Mr. Nelson. Let's see if we can quickly talk with Prince Ngare. Prince Ngare, are you there with us? Okay, well, I think that's all on this program for this week. Come Monday again, of course, we'll come back and let you have the latest happening in the Nigerian Premier League. And of course, already you know that the NPFL, the Nigerian Premier League is on break. And of course, the NNL also will resume come this weekend. I will give you results of that. So, Peter, thanks for coming around.
It's always a pleasure.
And of course, kudos to the man behind the scene, Mr. Sam Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Well, before we go, let's look at the table. Looking at the table right now, you can see that Lobby Stars, Aqua, Nasarawa, Sunshine are down the table. For me, Lobby, Aqua, Nasarawa are gone. And Remo to me has won the league. What's your take?
My take, I see Lobby are gone. They're already sure of going for the relegation. Aqua United still trying to struggle and see.
Well, I think the coming of Salisu has actually brought.
Yes.
They won their last match.
So I wouldn't want to write them off.
They can still come up. They tried Remo 1-0. Just to the difference today.
Yes.
Well, I think. Let's just look at it this way. For me, let's say Lobby and Aqua are short bets.
All right.
But make Lobby and Aqua fans don't come beat me. And for the title, I think Remo except something else happened.
Remo are sitting comfortably.
And the second and third position for Continental will be a struggle between Shooting Stars, Rangers, Abia, Rivers. The Ikorodu are struggling there. It's still very close. So I think the teams between the second and say the seventh position are still sure to pick a Continental ticket.
Just like you rightly said, if you look at the table, you will find out that it's just a margin of 1, 2, 3 points.
About
and you can easily
points.
pick that point from a match.
Yes.
And you can easily miss out a point from a match. So it's really, really very going to be a struggling, or I call it a tug of war for these teams. But let's just see how it plays in the course of the season.
Before we go, let's just give kudos to Tornadoes. Tornadoes have been doing so well away. And sure, I think I wanted to ask the coach the magic he's actually using to win matches away. They've beaten Rangers away, they defeated Lobby, and they won another 3-4 matches also away. And the problem has been away. Then also kudos to the NPFL for sticking to the infrastructure facility. We all wanted Tornadoes to remain in Kaduna, but of course the fact Kaduna ABS was not good enough. It's taking them away, and of course other stadiums have been banned from hosting matches. I think that is one criteria the MPFL actually done so well, but they need to do more on financial, legal and administrative. For the infrastructure, kudos to them. I think the MPFL led by Honorable are doing a good job on that. So, but like we said, as time goes on, our league will get better. So we'll see you next week for more on Nigerian League on the 3M Sports channel.